The new album from rockers The Dangerous Summer is a melodic, uplifting, and introspective listen from front to back, but it can sometimes be set to only one gear musically. Is it worth a listen? Let's find out on this edition of Rock Album Review. Hey everybody, it's Nick here with you. Welcome back to the channel. Gravity is the 7th studio album from Maryland's The Dangerous Summer. It's the follow-up to 2022's Coming Home. And The Dangerous Summer is a band that's been around for a very long time, obviously. This is their 7th studio album, but they're a band that I've never really listened to until a couple of years ago. I always used to see their name, different publications, and see them on the internet, but never really listened to them until a couple of years ago. I first heard them on the All That Is Left of the Blue Sky EP that came out in 2020, which featured some of my favorite Dangerous Summer songs. Not that I know very many of them, but songs like Fuck Them All and Come Down. And then I went back and listened to some of the other albums in their discography. I really got into the Mother Nature album. That was really cool. And then I got into the Coming Home album. I love songs like All I Ever Wanted Was a Chance to Know Myself. I love the title track, Coming Home, Sideways, Dimensional Love, Big Green Eyes. There's lots of great songs on that record. And I really love AJ Perdomo's voice and lyrical style, the elements of rock that I really love in a band. They have those big punchy drums and punchy instrumentation. They have emotional vocals, pretty much tailor-made for me to enjoy. But I was a little bit disappointed a few years ago when I had tickets to go see The Dangerous Summer in Toronto on the Coming Home tour, and then they canceled the tour about 3 days from the end of the actual tour, so I found that to be really disappointing. I saw that they're coming back to Toronto to play that same venue that they canceled at coming up in July, but I have to say I have very mixed feelings about buying tickets to go see them again. But as far as the band and their music go, I feel like The Dangerous Summer is like emo music for adults. When they started out, they were emo music for emo teenagers and emo 20-somethings, but now they've evolved with their audience, and now they're making emo music for 30-somethings and 40-somethings like myself. I feel like I can connect to the band a little bit more now that I'm a little bit older. But like I said, this is really soaring, fist in the air rock music that has that really epic melodic feel that I love. And that is something that they have in spades on this new album, Gravity, from front to back. It's very melodic. It's very driving, punchy rock music that I love. It's got that epic, like I said, uplifting kind of fist in the air kind of feel to it. And I read that Third Eye Blind was an influence on these guys, and I definitely hear that in the Dangerous Summer's music, particularly obviously on this album, from songs like Gravity to What's an Hour Really Worth. I can hear that Stephen Jenkins, Third Eye Blind kind of influence, especially in AJ Perdomo's delivery and his lyrical style. And that sound is very pervasive throughout the sound of Gravity. It's very much a Dangerous Summer kind of record. Songs like Pacific Ocean reminded me of Coming Home. Feels a little bit like a sister or companion record to Coming Home in terms of its sound and its songwriting and its production. This song in particular, Pacific Ocean, reminded me of Coming Home, or All I Ever Wanted Was a Chance to Know Myself, which is the longest song title ever. And lyrically, this record packs a really emotional punch. Songs like I Feel More Like Myself When I'm Losing It, another great kind of extended long title, has big vocals from AJ Perdomo screaming the title at the end of the song, and I felt like this was a real highlight from the record as well. One of my favorite things about The Dangerous Summer is the big punchy drums, courtesy of drummer Christian Zawacki. I hope I got that name right. Songs like Pacific Ocean and Gravity really pop because of the drums. That was something I really enjoyed on Coming Home as well. I really love just those punchy drums that really cut through the mix, really give the songs a lot of energy, and Christian is a great drummer. He sounds great on this record. And there's some really great guitar moments on here, some really shimmery, great guitar moments on here. Love the tones on here, on songs like You'll See It All Coming. The leads don't really pop out in the songs like they do with other bands. It's not like the lead guitar player stepping forth for that big guitar solo that's going to dominate the song. The leads and the guitar parts definitely just they mix more into the tapestry, the overall sound of the band. It's not necessarily like Slash taking a big solo, but the guitars on here are very cool. I love the opening riff on What's an Hour Really Worth, and a great vocal from AJ Perdomo. An interesting sentiment on here as well lyrically. I think he is a great lyricist, and then you have a lyric on here, we're all gonna die here, so what's an hour really worth? And you know what, it makes you think. I also love the riff and the bass on Where Did the Time Go. That's a highlight on this record for me as well. That one had one of the catchiest riffs of the entire record. And I thought another track on here, Dream, which was I think the second to last track on Gravity, that was a great song as well. Sometimes, and I'll mention it in a minute, sometimes these albums tend to go down a little bit in terms of the better songs being at the front and the weaker songs being at the back, and that is the case on here. But I thought Dream was a great driving rock track to kind of pick up the attention and pick up the momentum towards the end of the record. And I think Dangerous Summer is just great summer driving music, whether it's out in the sun during the day, full blast, listening to the music, or maybe doing a late night drive in the country with the summer breeze in your hair. They seem to be able to cover all the different vibes you want for the summer rock vibes, the dangerous summer rock vibes. And then there are some weaker tracks on this album, songs that didn't really grab my attention as much, at least on the first listen. I didn't love Turning Love into War as much as some of the other tracks on this album, although I suspect that one in particular is going to be a fan favorite. And some of the later tracks on the album, as tends to be the case when I review a lot of albums on this channel, lost my attention a little bit on songs like With My Pen and Wild One towards the end of the record, but that tends to happen on a lot of records. It's hard to write a 12 to 13 song album these days where every song is going to be solid, at least in my opinion. And I can see how this album gets a little bit samey in spots in terms of its sound, the songwriting, production, as much as I do love that. The Dangerous Summer have their sound. There's 7 albums in. They've kind of established that sound. And although sometimes it can be a little bit one gear, it feels like they're going into this one gear on most of the songs, and that tends to continue throughout most of the record. But that in general is a minor complaint. And there's not really a heart-stopping centerpiece on this record, a tender moment. Like on Coming Home, there's a song called Big Green Eyes, which to me is a beautiful, beautiful song. There were legit songs on Coming Home that made me emotional, that being one of them in particular. But I didn't really get that from any of the songs on this record, Gravity. I think the song that came closest to Big Green Eyes in terms of sound, in terms of emotion, was the last song on the record, which is called Into the Stratosphere. It was the album closer. It was a little bit like that, but maybe not as strong in my opinion. Although I have to say about this album, Gravity, I love the album cover. It's a really striking, beautiful album cover, although I tend to be a sucker for these kind of album covers. I don't know, you put an astronaut, a cool looking astronaut, into a shot like against some water or a place where an astronaut's not supposed to be, it always ends up looking cool on an album cover. Overall, I think the new album from the Dangerous Summer, Gravity, is a solid record. It's very well performed, very well done. I don't think I like it as much as Coming Home, but that tends to be how it is when you're getting into a band and you get into a certain record. The record after that tends to maybe not grab you as much, at least in some cases. But I say that because that's, like I said, the record that got me into the band. I don't think it's as strong as Coming Home, but it is a strong effort overall. These guys are on their 7th record, so they're going to make dangerous summer music. I don't really expect them to go and do something incredibly different on this record. It's melodic, it's punchy, it's enjoyable to listen to. It's got that hopeful fist in the air anthemic feel, and that, of course, is right up my alley. There's not too much variety here in terms of the songwriting and the sound. Some of the songs, most of the songs, are in the same general realm. It would have been cool to hear a little bit more variety and hear the band try to do some different things, but overall, it's got great songwriting and great production. And as far as being a heavy rock album, which a lot of bands are these days, a lot of the albums that I review here on the channel are a lot heavier than the Dangerous Summer. This is not really that. It's got some heavy and punchy elements, but overall, this is very much like 90s and 2000s emo and alt rock. It's not really hard rock or metal, but this is always a genre that I've enjoyed and I will continue to enjoy, and the Dangerous Summer do it very well. Favorite tracks for me on Gravity were I Feel More Like Myself When I'm Losing It. I love the title on that. Pacific Ocean, What's An Hour Really Worth, and Where Did the Time Go? Those were definitely my favorite tracks on Gravity. Overall, I'm going to give the new album from the Dangerous Summer called Gravity a 3 out of 5. And that is it, guys. That is my rock album review for the new album from the Dangerous Summer called Gravity. I really enjoyed it. Let me know what you thought of the record in the comments below. If you like this review, make sure to toss me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate that. If you like what I'm doing here on the channel, you want to rock out with me, make sure to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and make sure to follow me on social media across platforms at Nick Chino Music. And I'll see you guys again for another rock album review here on the channel. Until then, rock on, everybody.